Good morning, everyone. It's been a little while since I've done a Maxime Bernier Twitter roundup, so I'm going to do a quick one this morning. And we're going to go back to the 20th of June, and this is the tweet. He says, quote, "What some people find politically incorrect, offensive, or even hateful cannot serve as the legal basis for discrimination and censorship. Canadians should be able to enjoy maximum freedom of conscience and expression as guaranteed in Section 2 of the Charter." And this is a link to the People's Party platform on censorship and discrimination. And I've done a deep dive on this, so you can check the video back catalog of my channel to have a look at that. It was yesterday, so it's a longer video. It's like 21 minutes, but it's interesting. And I think that this platform piece is very, very important, especially in light of what we've been witnessing in recent months, even like in the past year. It's been incredible, the attacks on free speech. In 2016, it was incredible to watch kids at Queen's University bang on windows and drowned out Jordan Peterson. That was shocking. But what's even more shocking is the government's moves in the last year. It's been incredible, and so concerning to watch. So I'm glad that there is at least one political party putting forward a sane approach to free speech, and that is the People's Party of Canada, which is great. Here is Rob Ferguson. "I was at this event, and that's the reason I'm tweeting this." Maxime Bernier retweeted this, and he says, Rob Ferguson says, "Awaiting the launch of 40 candidates, including Renata Ford for Maxime Bernier's People's Party of Canada. They ran out of press kits, so I can't tell you any other names right now." So I didn't know that we ran out of press kits, but that's kind of interesting to note. There's a lot of press there. People are interested. People want to know. Here is a slow-loading browser. "And we're in the game," says Maxime Bernier. This is from the same event, "whose arrival at the podium was met with applause. He calls his party, the People's Party of Canada, the alternative. He says it's not a one-man party. Quote, 'I won't be the only one elected on October 21st, he continues. And it was an interesting event. I enjoyed being a part of it. I did, and there's a link in the description, not this description, the other video's description of that event. Okay, Maxime Bernier is tweeting, "There's a relentless push by globalists for Canada to accept more immigrants and refugees for whatever reason. Minister Hassan is inventing new reasons to accept refugees as economic immigrants." And here is the piece from the Toronto Sun, or the Edmonton Sun, sorry. "Immigration Minister Ahmed Hassan says he wants Canada to accept more refugees as economic immigrants." Immigration Minister Ahmed Hassan says he would like to see Canada welcome more refugees than it currently accepts and believes more of them should be able to enter through economic immigration programs. Speaking to participants in a conference marking World Refugee Day on Thursday, Hassan acknowledged that Canada cannot resettle every refugee in the world. After all, a United Nations report issued this week estimates the number of refugees worldwide at nearly 26 million. I'm just going to pause here. I've heard the number of stateless people is like 245 million. So yes, I'm glad that Mr. Hassan acknowledges we can't resettle 26 million. That's something like 70% of our population. I'm just doing quick math there, but that's a lot of our population. That's more than 50%. We're at 37.5 million. So 26, 37, 70, 68 maybe. Anyway, but back to the article. "But as someone who arrived in Canada as a refugee himself, Hassan spoke with passion about the need for Canada to do more. Quote, 'My wish is that we continue to increase levels in our immigration system for refugees. I'm very open to saying that, and I will do whatever I can in whatever position I am in to continue to push for higher refugee numbers every single year. One way to dramatically increase those levels would be to open up economic immigration streams to refugees in addition to humanitarian programs,' Hassan said. One refugee has already arrived in Canada this way, thanks to a pilot program launched last year that aims to move skilled refugees in Kenya and the Middle East through economic streams like the Provincial Nominee Program. Mohammed Hakmi was living in Lebanon after fleeing his home country of Syria before being recruited to work for a tech firm in Kitchener-Waterloo earlier this year. This happened thanks to the pilot program being run by Talent Beyond Borders, a non-government organization that has partnered with the UN Refugee Agency to match refugees with employers in Canada and Australia." Pause. This is me again. If that doesn't greatly concern you in the context and the wider context of what NGOs are, non-governmental organizations, these people have the direct ear of legislators, and they have a lot of money, not government money, outside money influencing them. These people do not work for Canada, and I doubt they work for real refugees. And so it is very, very, very concerning when a non-government organization, NGO, starts tossing their hat in the ring. I think that should be completely banned. Done. Get rid of it. If you're a non-governmental organization, you don't operate in Canada. Gone. Seriously, this is a very concerning situation. It grows up and in and through all of the government systems, and they're funded with foreign money. It's just, the money is all dark. It doesn't help us. It doesn't help Canada. It's a bad idea. And my goodness, resettling people based on their recommendations? Oh, no, thank you. Back to the article. Hassan said he would like to massively ramp up this pilot as a way to bring more refugees to Canada. Instead of thinking of refugees as people who just want resettlement and other people who are passive recipients of aid, how about reimagining refugees as people who have assets to contribute, who have talents and skills that we need in Canada? I'll give you a reason, Mr. Hassan, because then you are incentivizing people to take that stream instead of more difficult, challenging streams, right? Oh, I can't make it as a regular immigrant to Canada, but I can make it as a refugee. And I've got talents too. I can drive a truck. I can program or administer a website or something to that effect. I've got all sorts of skills, right? And I'm a refugee. And so I don't have the same standards as the regular immigration program, but I can get access to the work market just the same. And I get more help. Why not? That's why not. Because it incentivizes something. We are trying to help the most needy people, not trying to flood Canada with as many people as possible. I'm not sure that you understand the difference. My goodness. And realistically, helping people doesn't mean bringing them to Canada. We could help many more people by funding programs in their own countries. But we would have to necessarily look at the impact at home in Canada first, because I think that Canadian tax dollars should be spent in country first. We have problems in Canada that need to be solving before we start pretending to everybody in the world that we can solve all of their problems. Very, very concerning. Very concerning. And this is our Minister of Immigration. A vote for Justin Trudeau is a vote saying this is what you want. I don't want this. Next tweet. Maxime Bernier says, quote, "There's a relentless push by globalists for Canada to accept more immigrants and refugees for whatever reason. Here is CBC alarmist propaganda claiming we should prepare to receive millions of climate refugees in the coming years." Here's another one. I'm not going to go through that article. "A People's Party government will repeal them." And this is in response to controversial bills C-69 and C-48 set to become law one day after Senate. It was Thursday. I reported on this. And it was interesting. Like, all of these laws got royal assent and passed very, very quickly. Boom, 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 right? Lots of very concerning laws. Bill C-71 is another one, the anti-gun law. But Mr. Bernier is weighing in and saying, we will repeal them. Thank goodness. I haven't seen a tweet from Mr. Scheer or a position on Mr. Scheer on that. Mr. Bernier is tweeting, quote, "Climate alarmists are afraid to look at the facts. They use mob tactics to attack opponents. The facts tell us that there is no climate emergency." And this is the Ross McKittrick, and I'll be speaking with Ross, I think, soon, which is I'm excited about. It should be very interesting. I like interesting conversations with interesting people, so I'm going to try and get him onto the show as well, but we'll see. I'm also working on getting Professor Haskell on the show, and I have a big get approximately 1 month from today. I will be interviewing Mr. Bernier. So I'm excited about that. So I've maybe buried the lead here, but I will be interviewing him, and I'm really excited. I've got an hour-long interview with him, so I'm really excited about that. Anyway, back to the Mr. Bernier Twitter roundup. LibCon Speechwriter mixed up some files, and I thought this was really funny, actually. This is the National Post saying, "What really happened at Andrew Scheer's climate policy speech on Wednesday?" And it's got Andrew Scheer saying, "And we will reaffirm the Paris Accord and make the biggest polluters like the oil and gas pay." Wait, what? Who the hell wrote this? And sorry, it actually said hell there. I usually try to avoid that, saying that on my show, so I apologize to anybody that offended. Maxime Bernier tweets, quote, "Vote your values, vote for what you believe in. Don't settle for mediocrity. Keep your integrity. PPC 2019. I agree. I try to agree. Maxime Bernier tweets, quote, "But tomorrow and for the rest of the year, we'll go back to being busy bringing back terrorist monsters to Canada and teaching them poetry." This is Justin Trudeau tweeting, "Today, on the National Day of Remembrance Victims of Terrorism, we remember that the Canadians whose lives were cut short or forever changed by a terrorist attack." Read my full statement here. Right, sure. Here's Maxime Bernier tweeting, quote, "But there are still leftist crazies among us who admire the Chavez-Maduro regime and would impose the same policies on Canada if they could. The fight against socialism is never over." I'm glad that he realizes this, and this is in response to a New York Times article. "Venezuela collapse is the worst outside of war in decades," economists say. Like, what's happened in Venezuela is very, very concerning. It is an oil-rich country just like Canada, and their oil was landlocked and not being able to be sold at market. And, well, look at what's happening to our oil. Look at what's happening to our investments. Look at what's happening to our energy sector. People are not confident in it. And so it is the investments are reducing, the revenue is reducing, and Alberta is being forced still to pay equalization payments for another few years. It's incredible. It's incredible. Back to Maxime Bernier. If it looks like a tax, walks like a tax, and quacks like a tax, then it's probably a tax, not a process or mechanism. And this is Andrew Scheer. And I looked at this and I talked about this as well. I understand how Mr. Scheer gets the process and mechanism, but fundamentally, taxpayer dollars are being spent on this. Taxpayer dollars are being extracted for this. It is, well, looks like a tax, walks like a tax, Semantics are semantics, I suppose. Right? Here's Mr. Bernier again. Different ways lying politicians try to sell their carbon taxes. Trudeau, it's not a carbon tax. It's a price on pollution. Scheer, we will set that cap. We will allocate those funds, but it's not a tax or even a price. Both. Just pay it and don't ask questions. Yes, this is the 580 CFRA, says federal conservative leader Andrew Scheer acknowledges that his proposal to cap emissions from big polluters will include the government setting a cost per ton of excess emissions, but he won't call it a price. And this is CTV News. And the last tweet for this morning is, what do you prefer? Trudeau's platform with Trudeau, Trudeau's platform with Scheer, Trudeau's platform, but even worse, with Singh or May, completely different and way better platform with me. You guys know what I would choose. But here's Andrew Scheer's platform. I'm not Trudeau. Yes, my election platform. Here it is. And the unfortunate thing is that's not even really true. It's not even really true. What are you going to do about what is your number for immigration legal immigrants per year? What will you do with the people who are currently here? How are you different than the Liberals? How are you going to close the safe third country agreement loophole, right? In what way? And your answer is, we'll actually talk to the Americans. I understand that. I get it. I understand that why the Trudeau government is failing in this, but I don't see how you're going to do it better. Same with China. How exactly are you going to get to the point where you're exporting light LNC oil, light natural gas, or whatever it is, to China? Because right now they're not taking our calls on account of our closest trading partner, the United States, saying that Meng Wanzhou, we've got to deal with her. And China's not very happy about that, right? That's problematic, Mr. Scheer. Very problematic. Okay, so interesting. This is going to be a fun election, everyone. And we're ramping up, but we've got 1 week of school left. If you're in school, the little kids are getting out at the end of this week. And my goodness, and then we're into summer. And then the writ's going to be dropped. Whew. I can't wait. It's going to be lots and lots of fun. So thanks for watching, everybody. Check out thepeoplespartyofcanada.ca and have a wonderful, wonderful day.